Well, it's late here. I mean, it may not be there. It's, gosh, like 11 something? Maybe 12? I think it's about 12 on a Thursday night, but I don't have to wake up Friday morning, so, like, is it really that important? Because I'm OLP, like, I have no idea how I'm gonna do it when we all go back to, like, fully normal school, because if we stay on Plan A, we're still only going, like, 4 days. So I have absolutely no idea how on earth I'm gonna wake up every morning with enough time to get dressed and get out. Because, like, this has been my life for a year and a half where I can literally just wake up and hop on. It's that simple, that easy. So it's insane to think about it being different than that. Anyway, but I guess I'm excited, but somehow at the same time super nervous. But I think a lot of things in life are like that, you know? Like, I'm excited to grow up, but I'm so nervous about what might come because with the genetic disease, especially, it will start to affect me more when I'm older because I have adult onset, which means that the progression of this disease has effects, but they're much lighter until you get older, and then it gets more aggressive. So, towards the end of my adolescence, and even in the next 2 or 3 years, especially, I might start to notice some changes, and that scares the crap out of me. The idea that I'm not gonna be fully in control. I'm a bit of a control freak. Just a smidge. But I also have anxiety, which means that it's just generalized. It's not like pointed or super super bad, but it's not it's not a light case either. It just means that everything that scares me is heightened, and I have trouble not thinking about it. And trust me, I know I'm not the only one out there with these types of problems. I'm sure everyone's nervous about getting older. But they're different kinds of nerves. I think everyone's nervous about what am I going to do? What am I going to need to know? Am I going to be able to graduate? Do I want to go to college? All of those nervous things. I'm nervous about less what am I going to do and more what am I going to be able to do. And less who do I want to be and more who do I have to be now. Because I don't have the same time frame and options as everyone else because of this. It typically means that I'm going to have less working years in my life, and I'll have to go on disability, which means that I have to start with a high-paying job, so that when I go on disability, that 60% of whatever I would have gotten is enough to get by on. And I want to try and have kids earlier on, because then they have less of a chance of getting it. And do I want to have a natural birth someday? And if so, I need to be younger. And all of these different things. But then there's the simple, I have all of these dreams. Like I've mentioned before, I want to be an actress. And you know those like 5 years when you're just starting off where you're literally living off of your dream and like SpaghettiOs and ramen noodles. Those are the 5 years that a lot of people would think, oh, if I could skip those, I would. But I don't really get those. And I'd give pretty much anything to have them. But it's not something that I can afford to do with my life. I need a plan B, and I need my plan B to be my major thing. I need it to be a high-paying job that has flexible hours. And that's impossible. The things I love to do, I love to write. I love to write songs. I love to sing. I love poetry. I love acting. I love music. I love performing. I love dancing. All of those things are things that when I get out into the world, unless I get a big break, aren't going to make much money. And obviously, I'd rather go for my dreams than make a ton of money. And everybody makes that choice in their lives. But it's not really a choice in my circumstances. And maybe that's okay. It's gonna mean I'm better prepared for what's coming. It's gonna mean that it's gonna be a little harder. But it doesn't mean that I'm gonna put my dreams on a box. It doesn't mean I'm gonna forget about them or sacrifice them for anything. It just means that they're gonna be a little harder to obtain because I'm not gonna have those 5 years. But I'm gonna figure something out, 'cause I'm ruthlessly determined. And I may not have the same options as everyone else because of my disease, but there's a big part of me that wouldn't trade it if I could get rid of it. If I had one wish, I'd get rid of my brothers, honestly. 'Cause it affects him more than it's ever gonna affect me because he has higher numbers and because his childhood onset. And because having it is a lot of what made me so determined. I mean, I was always a relatively independent, very strong-headed person, just naturally. Which is where part of the determined comes in. But if I didn't have something where I knew my whole life I'd have to fight it and be one step ahead of it, then I don't think I'd be who I am today. And while, yeah, it majorly sucks, it's this gigantic part of who I am. It's something that I have to live with, and it's something that makes me stronger. It's the thing that's going to separate me from everyone else. Because everyone else can be determined. Everyone else can work hard. Everyone else can have good grades. Everyone else can be good at auditioning. Everyone else can have a great voice. Everyone else can run lines perfectly. But not everybody's brave enough to say what their challenges are. And in a field like acting, people tend to have a little less. A lot of the people who have these big dreams give up on them to support themselves and their families. And the people who don't are trust fund babies. Or they're hard workers. But I did everything, and always have, that everyone else has done. And I've done it with all of my challenges. We're talking, I've done everything I've done. I've gotten 1D in my life, and I suck at math. And right now I have an 89 in a math class. I'm at home. In the middle of a pandemic, I spend more time in the bathroom than anyone I know. My stomach hurts all the time. Well, not all the time anymore, but a lot of the time. I have a brother who needs my help with things at 11 that other kids don't need help with, that I didn't need help with. There are so many things that I'm going against. And somehow, I've managed to do it. I mean, I was even offered by my mom the ability to get a 504 plan, which means that based on the way my brain works and the disease as a backup, I could get extra time on every assignment I have. And I am so freaking stubborn that I refused it. And I will refuse it for as long as I possibly can until I really need it. Because I want to do what everyone else can do. Just like that. For as long as I possibly can, until someone proves me that I can't. And then it's okay, because it's just a leveler. It's leveling the playing field. It's giving me a little extra time. But the truth is, I don't really want it. I want to be able to do everything that everyone else can, and everything I've dreamed of. And whether it's sitting here making a YouTube video at midnight on a Thursday night, or whether it's being up there on a Broadway stage, or whether it's being on a screen in millions of people's living rooms, doing exactly what I always dreamed I'd be doing. I will face everything in my life with the same determination and bravery I always had, because everything's a battle. It may not be against another person. Sometimes your biggest competition is what's lying right in front of you. It's getting out of bed when you feel your worst. It's going into work when you feel sick. It's going after a dream when you're tired as hell after working a long day. It's doing everything that you thought you couldn't. And it's doing it proudly. Because that's what dreams are. They're something that you will sacrifice everything else to have. And only the really determined ones make it. So even though I don't like that I have this, I'm stuck with it. And it's made me a stronger person because I'm stuck with it. It's not something there's a cure for. I can't get rid of it. Maybe someday I'll be able to. And if so, that's amazing. But right now, It's the hand I got dealt. And mind these words. With the hand I got dealt, I plan to win the game.